Schulman, next slide, who is our Economic Development Manager of the city, and also by Ms. Rebecca Guerrero, who has agreed to be our translator this evening. So if anybody needs translation, just let Rebecca know and she'll be able to communicate with you if she's not your computer language. I'm going to turn it over to the esteemed mayor, who will give a few minutes of welcome.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Eleanor. And we just saw with perfect timing, Councilmember Frangucci is joining us. I want to thank all of you very, very much for coming this evening. New Rochelle is in the very early stages of updating its comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is a document that takes a look at what we are as a community and what we want to be as a community. It focuses primarily on the physical characteristics of New Rochelle, on land use, on structures, on zoning, but it can encompass other things as well. And as we go through this process, we're going to be looking at different neighborhoods, and we're starting here in the West End. And obviously, in order for us to do this properly, we have to make sure there's lots of public input, that the vision we end up putting on paper reflects what the residents of New Rochelle actually would like to see as we move forward into the future. So as Eleanor mentioned, this is the second of what we expect will be 3 sessions in which we're going to present an opportunity for you to provide us with feedback on good things, bad things, things you want to preserve, things you'd like to change, and hopefully together we can reason through what the content of our future vision ought to be. So I'm going to step aside and turn it over to the professionals, and look forward to listening to all of your comments. Thanks a lot.
Thanks again. I'm going to allow. Okay. So you may be wondering why we're meeting, and as the mayor mentioned, one of my tasks for next year is to sort of do a comprehensive plan for the entire city of New Rochelle. And we had an opportunity to start with a neighborhood study in the West End because this neighborhood is designated under
it's in the CDBG target area, which means it's eligible for federal funding under housing and from Housing and Urban Development. So this is a follow-up meeting to some background work that the city has already completed. In 2006, we did a concept plan. It was a streetscape improvement plan for the neighborhood, as well as a traffic study more recently. And as you've probably seen in North Avenue, we are close to completing a multi-million-dollar construction program there. We're doing the sidewalks and the streetscape. And now we have an opportunity to invest in this neighborhood, and that's why we're soliciting and looking for your input tonight and from the last meeting, so that we can bring this to our consultant, and it will supplement their observations as well, which they've done.
So feel free to stop and ask us questions as we go along, because we want to sort of take you along as we're going through this presentation. But really, talking with you will give us an opportunity to make plans for where to invest CDBG funds later on, as well as give us an opportunity to kick off our comprehensive plan. So just that everybody understands that's sort of why this is happening right now. We retained a consultant, which they are the ones who, along with one of our deputy commissioners, ran the first meeting. So at the end of tonight's meeting, we're going to take the information that we've gathered here, we're going to analyze it and turn it over to them. And then the third meeting, which the mayor mentioned, is where they're going to come back with ideas and suggestions and recommendations of what to do. And at that meeting, you'll also be able to give feedback in terms of prioritizing what you think and where things should go and what will be. And keep that in mind. So tonight, we're just going to review. We're just going to run through the PowerPoint, and as we go along, it's very interactive. So please feel free to interject, stop us, ask us questions along the way, because this is really us gathering. Your knowledge of your neighborhood is the best source of information that we can have, that we can use to make plans for the future from the perspective of the city. So it's very important. Then we have a small exercise at the end, and then we'll sort of end on a note of what the next steps are, to reiterate that. When the consultants came in, they did a scan of the neighborhood, so these maps are just some initial observations that they had. If you were at the first meeting, some of this might look familiar to you, so just bear with me as I bring everybody else up to speed. So they sort of located the West End neighborhood, and if something doesn't look correct here, let us know and we'll make a note of it and make sure that it's correct. As you can see, and I don't know if this is significant or not, but one of their observations was that the West End falls almost equidistant between the two train stations, and we were curious if anybody sort of used the Pelham station or most. Yes? Okay. Sure. Yeah. So you go.
But what side of it?
Oh, the West End. Okay, that's a valid observation. Alright. They also noted that it's very walkable to the downtown. We were curious if lots of people walk to the downtown or drove to the downtown, or we sort of utilize the downtown if that was something that the neighborhood took advantage of, the proximity to downtown, shops and stores.
And this is kind of about the accessibility of the West End neighborhood and which New Rochelle streets pass through, how you access the neighborhood from which points, north, south. You can see that it's kind of the general boundaries are the major highways, the 995, the Memorial Highway, and we're kind of looking to see what the usage patterns are, connection to the downtown and our transit center, as well as within the neighborhood itself. As people get around, is it easy? Are we looking to, in terms of public transit as well, in terms of bus usage, is it easy to get to downtown to the transit center, is it easy to get around to other parts of the city?
And they also map the bus route, and I know since we got feedback from the last meeting that the location of the stop might be problematic. Is that an issue? The way the bus runs is fine? Okay.
Or possibly the addition of another bus stop, if that would make sense.
Or is this neighborhood well served by the bus route? This was their observation. You can let us know if they were on target or not. As from an outside perspective, they observed that the West End seemed to be in two halves, and one half was this sort of valley, and then on this side was where most of the commercial activity along Union happened, and then this side tended towards the more residential on this side. Do you guys perceive the neighborhood like that, or is it just one entire unified neighborhood, or is it in halves or quarters, or is it both? It's a combination.
Well, we consider the whole thing as one. I don't know why you the ballet.
Okay, it's just
not. It's
We always look at it as one part of West End.
I think they were the consultants were also looking at, I guess, the geographical, the topographical attributes, which might not necessarily have anything to do with the, the way the neighborhood functions, but it was just, an observation.
Then you're cutting off half of the commercial,
on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
So
which is more. Actually, I think there's more stores on that side than there are on the
I'm
other
not
side.
sure. What is the valley?
What is that?
That's really, I think that's First Street.
Topographic.
That's the bottom of the hill, which is First Street. First Street would be the body of the base.
yeah. I think it's
First Street?
That shouldn't be there because I think
Yeah.
it confuses people because
We'll take it off.
the splits of the neighborhood.
That doesn't
It
happen.
shouldn't be there. It's one unified area.
It's gone. Consider it gone. Another fact, thing that we wanted to look at is where the recreational and open and green spaces in the neighborhood, and we didn't see any of it within the boundaries that we identified. So then that made us wonder where is Phoenix Park?
Yes, yes. That's our only green space to speak of.
There's park and school there sometimes.
There's really no place for children to play, open like ball games in this neighborhood. Phoenix Park is strictly smoking. You can't have any soccer games, police officials.
It's just passive recreation.
No
Passive
bicycles.
recreation,
No bicycles.
no bicycles, it's not a playground. And the school lot is just locked up.
Closed.
I go back and forth. There's an interpretation that it's open to the community, but sometimes, a lot of times it's locked. I've heard that from the principal himself here, that it's open to the community. And when I went out to check, it was locked. So, trying to work on getting it,
We have
having some more frequency.
We have a summer program that we work out with Kelly and a few other entities that we have the field open during the summer evenings for the children to play.
We really should include it in green spaces.
But it's not
But
quite
it's,
fully.
right, it's kind of restricted.
It's organized, but
And then, the only sort of contained parking lot we found was the high school. Is that you? Is that residential parking?
Which
Which
one are you
one?
talking about? The one that's on Union, that Foresters Club? That's ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous?
I have a business on 6th Street in Union, and today I wanted to go to the bakery on 2nd Street in Union, and I went around and around and around this afternoon for about 10-15 minutes, and I didn't find a parking spot. It was cold, and I figured I was going to get in the car and go. Because on 6th and Union, I always find a parking spot, so I have no problem with dropping the car off the trip. There was no parking. I had to turn around inside that parking lot, and I noticed that the entire inside of that parking lot is restricted to Forester members only. And the outside of the parking lot is apparently reserved for permits. So there was no parking anywhere except there where there was only a handful of cars.
That should be.
So I couldn't
That
park.
should be a public parking lot. You can pay fee for
A
using
meter
any
or
coin
something.
operator or whatever. It should be, not be a semi-private parking lot for
And there's probably only 10 people in that club to begin with.
Can I ask the group a question? I don't know whether this would be possible or not. This is one of the few properties that's publicly owned in the West End. If the choice were between public parking or a green space park, which would be the higher priority?
Green space, I would say.
Parking.
Parking is
Well, it's a big
ridiculous.
issue.
It's really a.
Well, right now it's really acting like we don't have nothing. We don't have green space and we don't have parking either. So it's basically either or. Whatever they choose, I think it will be appropriate for the neighborhood. But being that parking lot is underutilized, so I think it's a problem. And either way it goes, I think it will be well useful for the community.
It's clear that they're both big needs.
I've heard from other store owners on Union that it really is a problem. On Saturday, people come from far away to go to shop there, and they can't park anyplace. So you're really not encouraging this as a business and commerce street when there's no parking.
And also the police.
Very far, has
police-
no relationship at all.
The police here in Union Avenue is a lot of problem with us. We have a business because they're not letting park anybody even in the corner for 5 minutes. And that's the people who go to work when you stop for a few minutes. Go to North Avenue, go to Main Street, and they stop anytime they want, and nobody say anything. And we gotta pay here in Union Avenue a lot of tickets because, and this is the people who come to work.